6 a.m. The alarm clock buzzes. Sarah drags herself out of bed, coffee in hand, scrolling through her phone before her eyes are even fully open. Emails, news, deadlines, social media. Her heart races before the day has even begun. She whispers to herself, "Why does happiness always feel just out of reach?" And maybe, in some quiet way, that's you too. Waking up already tired, moving through the day with a smile on your face, but deep inside, feeling like something is missing. Here's the paradox. The harder we chase happiness, the further away it seems to slip. It's like holding water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it escapes. But what if happiness was never meant to be chased? What if it was meant to be uncovered already here, hidden beneath the noise, waiting for us to notice? For thousands of years, Buddhist wisdom has pointed to a path. Not complicated, not mystical, just simple truths that remind us of what it really means to live. And today, I want to share with you 8 powerful secrets rooted in these teachings that can transform the way you experience life. Stay with me, because once you hear them, you'll begin to see happiness not as some faraway dream, but as something you can touch in every breath, every step, every moment. And the very first secret might surprise you. It's not about doing more, but about seeing more. Before we begin, if these words resonate with you, take a moment to gently like this video, share it with someone you care about, or subscribe to the channel through the description. These small gestures are more than support. They are ripples of kindness, helping this wisdom reach those who may need it today. I am truly grateful to you. And now, let us step onto this journey together. 1. Focus on the present moment. Have you ever noticed how much of your life is spent somewhere else, but not here? Your body may be sitting in this moment, but your mind is racing to the past, replaying old mistakes. Or it's running toward the future, imagining problems that haven't even happened yet. And because of that, we miss the only place life is actually happening. Right here, right now. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do. Because our habits pull us away from the present. Our fears, our regrets, our endless what-ifs keep stealing today's peace. But let me share with you a truth that changed my own life. When we train ourselves to come back again and again to the present moment, something extraordinary happens. We begin to see life more clearly. We taste the sweetness of ordinary moments. And we discover that peace is not somewhere far away. It's right here, waiting quietly inside us. Think about this. The past is heavy because it can't be changed. The future is uncertain because it hasn't arrived. But the present is alive. It's breathing. It's the only moment we can actually touch. And yet, how many times do we lose it? We sit at the dinner table, but instead of tasting the food, we scroll on our phones. We talk with a loved one, but our mind is already at work tomorrow. We watch the sunset, but we're too busy capturing it for social media to feel its warmth. Life keeps offering us miracles, and we keep walking past them. I remember one day, years ago, I was walking in the park. My head was full of worries, emails I hadn't answered, bills I needed to pay, conversations that didn't go well. But then I heard a child laugh. It was pure. It was light. And in that sound, I was pulled back to reality. For a brief moment, I looked around. The trees were moving gently with the wind. The sky was glowing with the late afternoon Sunday. And I realized life was happening all around me. Not in my thoughts, not in my fears, but right here. That single moment reminded me of something the Buddha taught. Each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. So, how can we live this way every day? Start small. When you wake up, before reaching for your phone, pause. Take one deep breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Remind yourself, this is a new day, a new chance, a new life. When you eat, taste your food. Don't just chew. Notice the texture, the flavor, the gift of nourishment. When you walk, feel your feet touch the ground. Each step is an anchor pulling you back to now. And when your mind runs away, as it always will, don't fight it. Simply smile and gently bring it back. Again and again. That's the practice. Here's the truth. Happiness is not hidden in some distant future. Peace is not locked in a past we can't change. Both are always here, in the present, waiting for us to notice. The more you focus on this moment, the lighter you become. The more you let go of yesterday and tomorrow, the freer you feel. And slowly, you'll see this moment is enough. This breath is enough. This life, right now, is enough. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's one small thing you can do today to bring yourself fully into the present? Maybe it's one mindful breath. Maybe it's putting your phone away at dinner. Maybe it's simply noticing the sound of the wind. Whatever it is, choose it. Do it. And watch how life begins to open before you. Because the present moment is not just where you live, it's where you truly come alive. 2. Gratitude is your superpower. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to focus on what's missing in your life? We wake up and the first thought is, I didn't sleep enough. We look at our jobs and think, I'm not making enough. We scroll through social media and whisper to ourselves, I don't have what they have. And just like that, life starts to feel heavy. Because when our mind is trained to see what's lacking, the world always looks gray. The Buddha once taught, let us rise up and be thankful. If we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. If we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. If we got sick, at least we didn't die. So, let us all be thankful. Such simple words. But hidden inside is a key that can unlock joy in any moment. That key is gratitude. Gratitude is not just about saying, thank you. It's a way of seeing. It's a shift of focus. Instead of staring at what's missing, you turn toward what's already here. Think about it. When you focus on lack, life feels like a burden. But when you focus on even the smallest gift, a warm cup of tea, the breath filling your lungs, the smile of a stranger, the world changes. It becomes lighter. It becomes colorful. It becomes enough. That's why gratitude is a superpower. It has the ability to transform a moment of struggle into a moment of peace. Not because the outside changed, but because you changed the way you see it. I want to share a personal story. A few years ago, I was going through a difficult time. My work felt overwhelming, my relationships felt strained, and no matter what I achieved, it never felt like enough. I kept telling myself, when I get this, I'll finally be happy. When I fix that, life will be better. But happiness kept moving further away. One evening, I was sitting outside, feeling exhausted, and I noticed an old woman walking slowly past me. Her back was bent, her steps were shaky, but her face was shining with the biggest smile. She paused, looked up at the sky, and whispered, "Thank you." That moment struck me. She had so little, yet she carried so much joy. I realized joy doesn't come from having more. It comes from noticing what's already here. That night, I began a simple practice. Before bed, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. Some nights it was big things like a supportive friend. Other nights it was small, like hearing birds sing in the morning. But with each entry, my heart grew lighter. And slowly, I began to see abundance everywhere. So how do you bring gratitude into your daily life? You don't need a perfect journal or a long ritual. Start with this. When you wake up, before your first complaint slips in, say to yourself, "Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this day." When you eat, pause for a moment. Think of the hands that planted, harvested, cooked, and served this meal. Let that awareness turn your food into a gift. And when life feels hard, when challenges pile up, ask yourself, what is one thing I can still be thankful for right now? There is always something. Even the smallest spark of gratitude can light up a dark moment. Here's the truth. Gratitude won't erase all of life's problems, but it will change the way you carry them. It turns struggle into strength. It turns emptiness into enough. It turns ordinary moments into miracles. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. And one day, you'll realize you are no longer living from a place of lack. You're living from a place of fullness. So let me ask you, what's one thing you're grateful for today? It doesn't have to be big. It could be your morning coffee. It could be the laugh of someone you love, or simply the fact that you woke up to another day. Hold that thought close. Feel it in your heart. And remember, gratitude is not just something you practice. It's the lens through which joy is revealed. 3. Take care of your mind and body. There was a man who spent his whole life chasing success. He worked late into the night, skipped meals, and pushed his body past exhaustion. From the outside, he seemed accomplished, but on the inside, he was crumbling. One morning, he collapsed. And in that moment, all his wealth, all his achievements felt meaningless, because what he had neglected was the very foundation of his happiness, his mind, and his body. The Buddha once said, "To keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise we shall not be able to keep our minds strong and clear." It's a simple truth, but one we often forget. Happiness does not begin with what we own, or even what we achieve. It begins with how we care for ourselves, our breath, our body, our mind. Think of your mind and body like a garden. If you never water it, never rest it, never nourish it, what will grow? Only weeds, only fatigue, only suffering. But if you care for it with patience, feed it with healthy food, stretch it with gentle movement, quiet it with meditation, and rest it with sleep, then balance appears. Peace blooms, and happiness no longer feels so far away. This is not about perfection. It's not about having the ideal body or the perfect morning routine. It's about respect. Respect for this vessel that carries you through life. Respect for your mind, which shapes every experience you have. I remember a time when my own life was out of balance. I would wake up and immediately drown myself in emails, coffee, and endless rushing. I thought productivity was everything, but inside, I felt restless, anxious, and always tired. One day, a teacher said to me, "You cannot pour from an empty cup." Those words hit me hard, because I realized I had been giving, working, and striving without ever stopping to refill my own energy. So I made a change. I started small, 10 minutes of meditation in the morning, a short walk after meals, eating mindfully instead of rushing through food, and most importantly, giving myself permission to rest. The difference was profound. Not only did I feel healthier, but my mind became clearer. Decisions felt easier. And joy returned to simple things, like hearing the sound of rain or tasting fresh fruit. So how can you take care of your mind and body in your daily life? Start with 3 gentle steps. First, breathe with awareness. Every breath is life entering your body. Pause, inhale deeply, and feel gratitude for this moment. Second, move with kindness. Not to punish your body, but to honor it. Even a short walk, gentle stretching, or mindful yoga can awaken energy and calm. Third, rest. Without guilt. Sleep is not wasted time. It is the foundation upon which your happiness is built. When you rest, you heal. When you heal, you grow. Taking care of your mind and body is not selfish. It is an act of love. Because when you are balanced, peaceful, and well, you can offer your best self to the world. Imagine this: a calm mind that doesn't break under stress. A body that carries you with ease. A spirit that feels light, grateful, and full of life. This is possible, and it begins with the way you choose to nurture yourself today and every day after. So let me ask you, when was the last time you truly cared for your body and mind, not out of duty, but out of love? Take a moment now. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply, and remind yourself you deserve to be cared for. You deserve peace. Because happiness begins within you. And when your body and mind are in harmony, life itself becomes a beautiful meditation. 4. Prioritize relationships. There's a man who spent his life chasing success. He built a career, collected awards, and bought everything he thought would make him happy. But one evening, he came home to an empty house. No laughter, no warmth, no one to share his victories with. And suddenly, all that success felt hollow. Because the truth is, happiness means very little without connection. The Buddha once said, "A good friend who is faithful and wise is the greatest of all blessings." We often forget this. We chase money, power, recognition. But in the end, what stays with us is not the size of our bank account. It's the depth of our relationships. Think about it. When life is hard, who do you turn to? When you achieve something wonderful, who do you want to share it with? And when your days are almost over, what memories truly matter? It's not the deadlines you met or the things you bought. It's the moments of laughter at the dinner table. It's the quiet talks late at night. It's the times you were held and the times you held someone else. Relationships are the roots of our happiness. When those roots are cared for, life feels rich. When they are neglected, even success tastes bitter. I want to share something personal. There was a time when I was so focused on my goals that I started to push people away. I told myself, I'll make time for family later. I'll reconnect with friends once I've achieved more. But later kept getting pushed further and further away. And slowly, I began to feel lonely, even when surrounded by people. Then, one day, I visited a friend in the hospital. He was sick, fragile, but his room was full of love. Family members, old friends, even neighbors gathered around him. They laughed, cried, told stories. The room was heavy with pain, yet also light with love. I realized something that day. At the end of the road, what gives us strength isn't wealth or trophies. It's the people who walk beside us. So how do we nurture relationships in a world that's always pulling us toward busyness? First, be present. When you're with someone, really be there. Put the phone down. Look into their eyes. Listen not just to their words, but to their feelings. Second, practice forgiveness. Every relationship has conflict. But holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other to suffer. When you forgive, you free not only them, but yourself. Third offer, kindness daily. It doesn't have to be grand. A gentle word, a smile, a hug, or simply saying, "I'm here for you." These small acts are the threads that weave lasting bonds. The beauty of relationships is that they are living. They require tending, like a garden. But the more you water them with attention, patience, and love, the more joy they bring back to you. Because when you love, you expand. When you connect, you heal. And when you give presence, you receive belonging. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, who in your life needs to hear from you today? A parent? A sibling? A friend you haven't called in years? What would happen if you reached out, not tomorrow, not next week, but today? Sometimes just one call, one message, one hug can change the course of someone's day, and maybe even the course of your life. The truth is simple. Happiness shared is happiness multiplied. Pain shared is pain divided. And when you choose to prioritize relationships, you are choosing a life that is full, meaningful, and deeply human. So let me leave you with this reminder. Take care of your relationships. Cherish them. Because in the end, love is not just part of happiness. It is happiness. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone you love today. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue walking together on this path of wisdom, love, and connection. 5. Grow patience and acceptance. Have you ever noticed how quickly we become restless when things don't go our way? The traffic light turns red when we're already late. The promotion goes to someone else. The people we love don't always act the way we hope. And in those moments, impatience rises like fire. We grit our teeth, our chest tightens, and we feel trapped inside a storm of frustration. But here's the truth. Life will always bring challenges, delays, and disappointments. The real question isn't if they come, but how we meet them. The Buddha once said, "Patience is the highest ascetic practice." Think about that for a moment. Out of all the spiritual practices, meditation, chanting, study the ability to be patient, to stay steady when everything inside you wants to explode, is considered the highest. Why? Because patience is not weakness. It's power. It's choosing not to let anger or fear drive your next step. It's the quiet strength that allows you to breathe, to see clearly, and to act with wisdom instead of impulse. Now, let's pair patience with its sister acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop fighting with reality. We stop saying, "This shouldn't be happening." Instead, we learn to say, "This is what's here right now, and I can meet it with calm." I'll share something personal. Years ago, I went through a time when nothing seemed to go as planned. Projects failed. Relationships felt shaky. I was stuck in a cycle of pushing harder and harder, and the more I resisted what was happening, the heavier life felt. One day, while reading a simple teaching of the Buddha, I came across these words: "Suffering is wishing for things to be other than they are." That hit me like lightning. My suffering wasn't coming from the events themselves. It was coming from my refusal to accept them. So I tried something different. Instead of demanding life bend to my will, I practiced patience. I slowed down. I breathed through the discomfort. I told myself, "This too shall pass." And you know what? It did. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because I did. When we grow patience, we create space inside our hearts. And in that space, peace can live. When we practice acceptance, we soften the grip of suffering. And in that softness, we find freedom. Let's make this practical. Next time you're stuck in traffic, instead of cursing the clock, notice your breath. Let the red light be a reminder to pause, not a punishment. When someone says something hurtful, instead of firing back, try to listen beneath the words. Often, pain is speaking through them. Your patience may be the very thing that heals the moment. And when life gives you something you cannot change, a loss, an ending, an unexpected turn, practice acceptance. Whisper to yourself, I cannot control this, but I can choose how I carry it. That choice is where true freedom lies. Remember, patience is not waiting passively. It is waiting with a calm heart. And acceptance is not defeat. It is wisdom in action. Together, they become a shield and a compass. A shield that protects your peace and a compass that guides you through the storms of life. So, the next time life tests you, and it surely will, ask yourself, will I let this storm shake me? Or will I stand steady, patient, and accepting, like a mountain against the wind? Because mountains don't fight the storm, they endure it. And after the storm, they remain. 6. Embrace change as growth. Change. It's one of the few things in life we can count on, and yet it's the one thing most of us resist the hardest. We finally feel stable in our job, and suddenly the company shifts direction. We settle into a relationship, and life throws challenges that shake its foundation. We get comfortable in who we are, and then the unexpected arrives to remind us nothing stays the same. Inside, we whisper, why can't things just stay as they are? But the truth is, they can't. The Buddha taught about impermanence, that everything in this world, from the mountains to the seasons, from our thoughts to our very breath, is always changing. He said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Think about that. It's not the change itself that causes suffering. It's our clinging to how things used to be. I'll share something personal. Years ago, I went through a season of deep change. A job I thought I'd keep forever suddenly ended. At first, I felt lost. My identity had been tied so tightly to that role that when it was gone, I didn't know who I was anymore. For months, I fought the reality. I told myself, this isn't fair. This isn't supposed to happen. And the more I resisted, the heavier life became. But slowly, through reflection, meditation, and the teachings of the Dharma, I began to see the change differently. Losing that job wasn't the end. It was an opening. It forced me to grow in ways comfort never could. It pushed me to discover new strengths, to step onto paths I would never have chosen on my own. Looking back, I can honestly say it was one of the greatest teachers of my life. Change is not here to punish us. Change is here to grow us. Every ending is also a beginning, even if we can't see it right away. So how do we embrace change rather than fear it? Start small. Notice the little shifts around you. The sunrise that paints the sky differently every morning. The way your breath feels cooler as you inhale and warmer as you exhale. These daily reminders of impermanence can soften your heart to life's bigger transitions. Then, practice letting go. When we cling too tightly to the past, we block the new from entering. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? It might be an old story, a relationship, or even an identity. Letting go doesn't erase what was. It simply makes room for what can be. And finally, reframe change as a teacher. Every time life shifts, ask, what can I learn here? How can this help me grow? That simple question transforms fear into curiosity and resistance into openness. Remember, growth rarely happens in comfort. It happens in the in-between spaces, the moments when life feels uncertain, when we're stretched beyond what's familiar. The caterpillar has to leave the safety of the cocoon before it becomes the butterfly. The seed has to break apart before it grows into a tree. And we, too, must pass through change if we are to step into our fullest selves. So the next time life changes on you, and it will try this, instead of saying, "Why me?" gently whisper, "Teach me." Because every shift, every loss, every new chapter is not just an ending. It is life, inviting you to grow, to expand, to step closer to who you truly are. And maybe that's the gift of impermanence, that every change carries within it the seed of transformation. 7. Pursue purpose, not perfection. Have you ever felt exhausted from trying to be perfect? Perfect at work, perfect in your family, perfect in how you look, act, or even how you post on social media. It feels endless, doesn't it? No matter how much we try, there's always something that falls short. And in those moments, the quiet voice inside us whispers, "I'm not enough." That's the trap of perfection. It's a moving target. No matter how close you get, it always shifts further away. The Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." Notice he didn't say, "You deserve love when you're flawless." He said you deserve love simply because you exist. This is where purpose comes in. When we live with purpose, the weight of perfection begins to loosen. Because purpose isn't about how polished you look on the outside. It's about how deeply you live on the inside. Let me share a story. I once knew a man who worked tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder. He had the big office, the polished title, the admiration of colleagues. On the surface, everything looked perfect. But behind closed doors, he was empty. He told me, "I've spent years perfecting an image, but I don't even know who I am anymore." Eventually, he walked away. Not because he failed, but because he realized success without purpose is still a kind of failure. He started a small community project, helping young people find career direction. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't perfect. But for the first time, he felt alive. And that's the shift. Purpose fills you in ways perfection never can. Perfection seeks applause. Purpose brings peace. So how do we move from chasing perfection to living with purpose? First, ask yourself, what lights me up? What makes me lose track of time? Purpose often hides in the things that feel natural to us, yet meaningful to others. It could be raising a child, creating art, teaching, building, or simply being someone who brings kindness into every room. Second, let go of the need to compare. Perfection feeds on comparison. It tells you to look at someone else's highlight reel and feel small. But purpose is personal. Nobody else can walk your path, and nobody else can live your values for you. Third, give yourself permission to be imperfect while you grow. Think about nature. A tree doesn't apologize for the seasons when it's bare, and a flower doesn't rush to bloom before it's ready. They grow in their own rhythm. And so do you. Here's a gentle reminder. People don't remember you for being flawless. They remember how you made them feel. They remember the love you gave, the courage you showed, the way you stood by your values even when it was hard. The Buddha also taught that chasing after illusions leads to suffering, and perfection is one of the greatest illusions of all. But purpose that's real, that's the seed that, when nurtured, grows into a life of fulfillment. So instead of asking yourself, "Am I perfect yet?" try asking, "Am I living with intention today? Am I aligned with what truly matters to me?" Because the truth is, a purposeful life is far more beautiful than a perfect one. Perfection cracks under pressure. Purpose endures. And maybe that's the greatest freedom of all. You don't have to be perfect to live a meaningful life. You just have to be present, authentic, and willing to walk your path with heart. So the next time you feel that urge to chase perfection, pause, breathe, and remember, your worth is not measured by how flawless you are, but by how true you are to your purpose. Give without expecting. Have you ever noticed how heavy life feels when everything is about what's in it for me? We walk into a room, we meet a person, and in the back of our mind, there's this quiet calculation. Will they like me? What can I get out of this? Will they do something for me in return? That constant mental math drains us. It closes our hearts. But imagine for a moment, what if you gave without expecting anything back? Not because someone deserves it, not because you'll get recognition, simply because giving itself is the reward. The Buddha once said, if you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. Those words are not just poetry. They are a reminder that true generosity doesn't come with strings attached. When you smile at a stranger, when you give your time to listen, when you offer kindness even to someone who can never repay you, you are setting yourself free. Free from the grip of ego. Free from the trap of disappointment. Free from the endless cycle of needing something back to feel complete. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you give without expecting, you actually receive something far greater. You receive peace. You receive joy. You receive a heart that feels light, open, and alive. Think about a time when you helped someone who couldn't possibly repay you. Maybe you gave directions to a lost traveler. Maybe you paid for a stranger's coffee. Maybe you simply sat with a friend who was hurting and offered your silent presence. Didn't that moment fill you with warmth? Didn't you walk away carrying something invisible, yet more valuable than anything money could buy? That is the essence of unconditional giving. Now, let's be honest. Our minds resist this idea. Society trains us to measure, to compare, to keep score. We're told that if we give too much, we'll be taken advantage of. But here's the deeper truth. Giving without expectation doesn't make you weak. It makes you limitless. Because your joy no longer depends on what others do or don't do. It comes from within you. It's like a well that never runs dry. The more you draw from it, the more it flows. Generosity in its purest form is not about the size of the gift. It's about the state of the heart. A small gesture, offered with sincerity, carries more power than the grandest gift given with hidden motives. And every time you practice this, every time you give a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, you are training your heart to expand. Slowly, your life transforms. Relationships feel lighter. Stress begins to fade. Even your struggles feel different, because your attention is no longer on what's missing, but on what you can share. So today, try this. Give something without expecting a single thing in return. Give your patience to the person who frustrates you. Give your time to someone who feels invisible. Give forgiveness, even when an apology never comes. Notice how it changes you. Because in the end, generosity is not about the other person. It's about the freedom it creates inside you. The Buddha taught that the greatest wealth is contentment. And nothing builds that inner contentment faster than giving from the heart. So the next time life feels heavy, remember this simple truth. You don't need to wait for abundance before you give. Giving itself is abundance. And when you live that way, when you give without expecting, you discover a happiness that no one can take away. Summary of key points and reflective lessons. So, after everything we've explored together, let's take a deep breath and return to the heart of it all. Happiness has never been about perfection. It's not about having more, doing more, or reaching some final destination where everything suddenly feels complete. True happiness lives in the simple moments when we are fully present. It's in the quiet gratitude for a warm cup of tea, It's in the gentle care we offer our own body and mind. It's in the way we open our hearts to love, even when life feels uncertain. The Buddha reminded us that clinging to perfection is like trying to hold water in your fist. It only slips away. But when we release the need for control, when we open our palms, life flows naturally through us. And here's the truth we often forget. Patience is not weakness. Acceptance is not giving up. Welcoming impermanence is not losing. It's learning how to live with peace, no matter how life changes. When you can sit calmly in the middle of life's storms, when you no longer resist every shift and turn, you discover a quiet strength inside you. That strength is what makes happiness sustainable. Think about this. When we live with a sense of purpose, even small acts of kindness begin to ripple outward. A kind word, a moment of listening, the courage to give without expecting anything back. Suddenly, happiness is no longer just yours. It becomes a current that touches everyone around you. And isn't that the most beautiful kind of joy? The kind that multiplies the more you share it? So if you've been waiting for happiness to arrive one day in the future, here is your reminder. Happiness isn't a finish line. It's not waiting on the horizon. It's right here, in the way you choose to live today. Every breath of gratitude, every step of mindfulness, every act of compassion that is happiness in action. That's the real teaching. That's the practice. So, let's gather the lessons we've touched on today. Happiness is not perfection, it's presence and gratitude. Peace comes from patience, acceptance, and the courage to embrace impermanence. A meaningful life is born when we live with purpose, when we give without expecting, and when we let our joy ripple into the lives of others. And the greatest lesson of all? Happiness is not the destination, it's the way you walk the path. Now, let me ask you, have you ever seen someone you love searching endlessly for happiness, not realizing it's already within their reach? If someone just came to your mind, maybe this video is the gift you can share with them. If today's message touched your heart, I invite you to let us know in the comments which lesson spoke to you the most. Your reflections might be the very words someone else needs to hear. And if you feel inspired to stay on this journey with us, don't forget to subscribe to Buddha Wisdom. Each video is crafted to bring a little more clarity, peace, and light into your day. Most of all, thank you for staying with me until the very end of this reflection. It means more than you know. May your days be filled with patience. May your heart be filled with gratitude. And may you discover happiness in the simple act of living fully, one moment at a time. Until we meet again, take care of yourself and keep walking gently on your path.